Hi, this is Anna London with Thought Experiment, and in this episode, we're going to be talking about game theory, the prisoner's dilemma, and the cybersecurity geopolitical landscape of 2024. Okay, so in the intricate world of cybersecurity and geopolitics, game theory, particularly the concepts of Nash equilibrium and the prisoner's dilemma, offers a fascinating lens through which to understand strategic interactions. Here in this episode, we're going to explore how these theories could influence decision-making in cybersecurity strategies and geopolitical relations. So with the prisoner's dilemma, as it relates to cybersecurity, okay, the hypothetical scenario is, imagine two nations, Nation A and Nation B, okay, each with advanced cybersecurity capabilities, but also vulnerabilities. They face a decision, cooperate in maintaining cyber peace or engage in cyber warfare, each trying to exploit the other systems. Now, if both cooperate, basically maintain cyber peace, both benefit from stability, shared cyber defense knowledge, and reduced risk of cyber attacks. If one nation defects, basically launching a cyber attack on the other, while the other cooperates, the defector might gain immediate advantages like intelligence or disruption, but risks retaliation or isolation. And then, of course, if both nations were to defect, basically, goes without saying, right? They would both suffer from cyber warfare's chaos, potentially catastrophic economic and infrastructural damages. So it's always an ebb and flow, right? It's a chess game. And so each of these decisions are heavily weighed on what the basically cause and effect may or may not be, okay? Now let's talk about the Nash equilibrium, okay? Here, the Nash equilibrium might be mutual defection, where neither nation gains an advantage by unilaterally changing its strategy. However, this outcome is not optimal, as both could be better off cooperating, okay? And then let's talk about the geopolitical application of this scenario. In the cyber arms race, right? So nations could find themselves in an arms race, not just in hardware, but in cyber capabilities. The fear of falling behind might drive nations towards aggressive cyber strategies, even if mutual cooperation would lead to a more stable environment. And then let's talk about alliances and treaties, because like in the stag hunt example, for instance, nations might form cyber defense pacts, aiming for the payoff dominant equilibrium where all cooperate. However, the risk is that one nation might defect if they believe they can benefit from the betrayal, okay? And that's where the prisoner's dilemma then comes into play, right? So let's talk about the role of game theory, right? And further explore this topic a bit further. Within the strategic decision-making component, leaders might employ game theory to predict opponent moves, understanding that the rational choice might lead to suboptimal outcomes due to mutual mistrust or the pursuit of short-term gains. Iterated games, right? So the real-world interactions are not one-off, but repeated. And so here, strategies like tit for tat might emerge, where a nation responds in kind to the actions of another, promoting cooperation over time through mutual reassurance. And again, this is not just for cybersecurity. This is also for, not just cyber warfare, but also physical warfare, right? That we see out in the geopolitical landscape at this time, right? So all of these things, as these leaders make decisions, have to take in consideration, right? It's the human behavior, really, when it comes down to it every single time. So let's talk about the challenges and innovations. The hybrid warfare, right? So the integration of cyber strategies with traditional warfare means that the payoff matrix involves not just cyber, but economic, political, and military outcomes, complicating the game. And then, of course, I would not be complete in my analysis if I didn't include the AI and automation component. So with AI, nations might employ algorithms that play the game autonomously, potentially leading to outcomes not entirely predictable by human standards, introducing new variables into the Nash equilibrium calculations. And then let's talk about information warfare, right? So the spread of disinformation or the manipulation of public opinion could alter the perceived payoffs, influencing decisions towards more aggressive or defensive postures. So, in conclusion, this hypothetical application of game theory in our thought experiment, especially through the lens of the prisoner's dilemma and Nash equilibrium, in 2024's cybersecurity and geopolitical landscape illustrates a world where rational decisions often lead to paradoxical outcomes. And while nations might logically strive towards cooperation for mutual benefit, the inherent mistrust and the allure of strategic advantage could push towards a state of mutual defection, right? And this scenario underscores the importance of establishing trust mechanisms, transparency, and perhaps even enforced cooperation through international norms or treaties to escape the trap of the Nash equilibrium in real-world applications. This thought experiment, not only highlights the complexities of international relations in the digital age, but also calls for innovative approaches in diplomacy and cybersecurity governance to navigate towards a stable, cooperative equilibrium. And again, this is all a hypothetical scenario I just kind of come up with in order to further discuss and analyze, right? Because I find these topics very interesting anyways, and game theory honestly does play a huge role in human behavior, the dynamics between nations, whether or not we go to war and what type of war, right? How the other opponent would react, right? It all comes down to game theory dynamics, right? And so I implore you to kind of look into it a little bit further if you'd like to explore this topic. And I'll go down this rabbit hole in another future podcast as well, applying other events and scenarios, because I find it quite interesting. I really do. So with that said, this is Anna London with Thought Experiment signing out.